Everyone says wait until 70 to claim Social Security. Maximum benefits, they tell you, don't leave money on the table. But what if waiting is actually the riskier move for your specific situation? What if the math everyone's using doesn't apply to you at all? Here's what nobody mentions when they're preaching the gospel of delayed claiming. The system is built on averages. Average life expectancy, average investment returns, average everything. But you're not average. Your health isn't average. Your financial situation definitely isn't average. And using generic advice for a deeply personal decision is how people end up making catastrophic mistakes. Let's start with something that should be obvious but gets ignored constantly. The break-even age for Social Security is somewhere around 80 to 81. That's the point where delaying until 70 finally overtakes what you would have collected by claiming at 62. Sounds great until you realize what this actually means. You need to live into your 80s for the delay strategy to win, not just survive, but actively collect benefits for nearly 2 decades after claiming. Now think about this. Roughly 1 in 3 men won't make it to that break-even point. For women, it's about 1 in 4. These aren't pessimistic outliers. These are actual Social Security Administration numbers showing that a massive chunk of people would mathematically do better claiming early. Yet financial advisors keep recycling the same wait until 70 advice like it's universal law. The Brookings Institution found something even more troubling. There's a 12.7-year gap in life expectancy between the highest and lowest income earners. 12 years. If you've worked physically demanding jobs your entire life, if you've got health issues stacking up, if your family history suggests shorter lifespans, every month you delay claiming is potentially a month of benefits you'll never see. This isn't about being morbid, it's about honest math. When financial planners tell you to wait, they're often working from assumptions that don't match your reality. They're calculating based on living to 87 or beyond. But what if your knees are already shot at 62? What if you've got a chronic condition that's manageable now but won't be in 10 years? What if you've watched every male relative die before 75? The system is designed around a specific calculation. Social Security assumes that whether you claim at 62, 67, or 70, you'll receive roughly the same total amount over your lifetime if you hit average life expectancy. But average is doing serious heavy lifting in that sentence. It's hiding the reality that half the population dies before that average age, and many of them would have been better off taking the money earlier. Here's where it gets interesting. When you claim at 62, you're accepting a 30% reduction in your monthly benefit. Sounds terrible when advisors frame it that way, but flip the perspective. You're collecting benefits for 8 additional years before you'd get your first check at 70. That's 96 months of income, real money in your account right now versus theoretical higher payments you might not live to collect. And this is just the longevity argument. There are people with $500,000 in retirement accounts making the same wait until 70 mistake as someone with nothing saved. Different situations, same blanket advice. That's the problem we're unpacking here. The question isn't whether you should claim early. The question is whether the specific reasons to claim early apply to your life. Because some of them might completely change how you think about this decision. What we're about to walk through are the scenarios where claiming at 62 isn't just acceptable. It's actually the smarter financial move. The most obvious scenario is immediate need. You lost your job at 61. Your health won't let you work anymore. Your savings are depleted or non-existent. In these cases, the decision makes itself. 71% of retirees say they stopped working earlier than planned. This isn't theory, it's reality crashing into retirement projections. When you genuinely need the money to survive, waiting for a bigger check becomes impossible. Nobody's debating whether you should claim early when the alternative is homelessness. But there's another category that gets less attention. People with substantial retirement savings who claim early anyway. Sounds contradictory until you run the actual numbers. Say you've got $500,000 in your IRA and you're 62. If you wait until 67 to claim Social Security, you're pulling roughly $84,000 from that account to cover 5 years of expenses. That money could have grown to over $100,000 if left invested at 6% returns. Instead, you're depleting principal that won't compound anymore. If you found one of these strategies useful, hit like so more people can make smarter Social Security decisions. and subscribe for clear, no-fluff breakdowns that help you get the most out of your money and retire on your terms. Flip the strategy. Claim at 62, take the reduced benefit, leave your retirement accounts untouched. Your portfolio keeps compounding for 5 additional years. Vanguard's research found this approach produces higher median wealth through age 88 for people with adequate savings. The crossover point where delaying wins doesn't hit until mid-80s. You're essentially choosing between guaranteed Social Security income now while your investments grow, versus burning through investments while waiting for bigger Social Security checks later. The tax angle matters too. Taking Social Security early lets you manage distributions from traditional IRAs more strategically. You might convert portions to Roth accounts during lower income years, avoiding massive required minimum distributions later that push you into higher brackets. This flexibility disappears when you're forced to drain retirement accounts to bridge the gap. Then, there's the quality of life calculation that spreadsheets can't capture. $1 at 63 when you can hike, travel, play with grandkids on the floor is worth more than $1 at 83 when your knees don't work. Retirees consistently report their most active years happen in their early to mid-60s. Activities decline through their 70s and 80s as health limits what's possible. Having Social Security income during those prime years enables experiences that become difficult or impossible later. This isn't irresponsible. It's acknowledging that retirement planning should serve your life, not the other way around. The certainty of enjoying money now versus the uncertainty of living long enough to benefit from waiting represents a legitimate consideration, especially watching health or a spouse's health decline. For married couples, the math shifts entirely. If there's a significant income gap between spouses, having the lower earner claim early while the higher earner delays can maximize household benefits. The lower earner gets immediate income. The higher earner's delayed benefit grows, providing larger survivor protection if they die first. This strategy delivers money during early retirement years while securing the surviving spouse's financial future. What makes these scenarios valid is that they're based on your actual circumstances, not generic advice assuming everyone lives to 90. The financial industry pushes delay until 70 because it works well on average. But you're not average. You're a specific person with specific health indicators, specific savings, specific family history, and specific retirement goals. The question isn't whether claiming early is right or wrong. The question is whether your situation makes it the rational choice. Sometimes taking less money sooner beats gambling on larger payments you might not live to collect. That's not pessimism. That's honest financial planning based on reality instead of assumptions that don't match your life. The difference between smart financial planning and following generic advice comes down to honest self-assessment. Look at your health history. Look at your family's longevity patterns. Look at what you actually have saved and what kind of returns you can realistically expect. Then make the decision that serves your life, not some theoretical average person who doesn't exist. Claiming at 62 isn't admitting defeat. For many people, it's the mathematically superior choice that financial advisors won't acknowledge because it doesn't fit their one-size-fits-all framework. You've got one retirement, one chance to get this right. The goal isn't maximizing your monthly check, it's maximizing your actual life with the time and health you have left. So when someone tells you to wait until 70, ask them which of your specific circumstances they're accounting for in that advice. If they're just repeating what works on average, they're not actually helping you. They're helping the average person who doesn't exist. Your retirement deserves better than that.